50-0. No man in the history of professional boxing finished with that record. Not Ali, not Marciano, not Sugar Ray. 50 fights, 50 wins, 0 losses, the perfect man. But perfection has a price. Tonight, who paid it and who couldn't look away? He was never knocked down, never stopped, never, ever beaten. So why does the story feel unfinished? Grand Rapids, Michigan, 1977, a city of car plant smoke and cold winters. Floyd Mayweather Jr. arrived hungry. The neighborhood didn't allow for much else. His father, Floyd Sr., was a welterweight contender. His uncles, Jeff and Roger Mayweather, were professional fighters. Boxing wasn't a dream in that house. It was the furniture. Roger taught him something most trainers don't teach: the shoulder roll, the Philly shell, a defensive posture that makes punches disappear. Floyd absorbed it. Then he perfected it. Then he weaponized it. Atlanta, 1996 Olympics. He was 19. He went 3 rounds with a Cuban southpaw. He lost on a split decision that shocked the building. A bronze medal, the single blemish on an amateur record of 84 wins, 6 losses. He never forgot the feeling. He turned professional that same year. He would not lose again. But the journey from hungry kid to legend, it would cost him everything he couldn't put a price on. Super featherweight, lightweight, super lightweight, welterweight, super welterweight, 5 weight classes, 12 world titles across 3 different sanctioning bodies. He climbed every rung. He beat the best man at each one. Trainers studied him. Champions prepared for months. They came with speed. They came with power. They came with reach. None of it mattered. The shoulder roll ate everything. Jabs vanished into his glove. Hooks slid off his shoulder. It wasn't defense. It was architecture. He started as Pretty Boy Floyd, likable even. Then something shifted. The cars, the cash, the entourage, the stacks of $100 bills in Instagram videos before Instagram existed. He was building a character, and the character was working. Boxing needed a villain. The sport was dying on PPV. He became the villain. He talked trash. He flaunted wealth. He dodged questions. And the public paid every single time to watch someone finally beat him. Nobody ever did. But there is another record, one the sport discussed quietly, if at all. 6 separate domestic violence incidents documented over a decade. Jail time served, victims on record. The sport looked away. The money kept flowing. Promoters promoted him. Networks broadcast him. Sanctioning bodies sanctioned him. The machine never stopped because the machine was profitable. Accountability ends where the money begins. All of it, the villain act, the record, the controversy, it led to one question, one fight. The fight the world had waited a decade to see. Mayweather versus Pacquiao. They spent 5 years not fighting each other. Negotiations collapsed, demands ballooned, the fans begged. Promoters feuded. Each delay made the fight bigger, and each year Floyd turned older. May 2nd, 2015, the MGM Grand Garden Arena, 4.5 million PPV buys, $400 million in revenue, the most financially successful boxing match in history, and the most disappointing. Pacquiao came for a war. Floyd gave him a masterclass. 12 rounds of chess, shoulder roll after shoulder roll. Every Pacquiao combination, smothered, redirected, countered. Floyd won every judge's card, convincingly, and the crowd booed the whole thing. They booed because they paid $400 million for a feeling, and Floyd sold them a lesson. He wasn't there to entertain. He was there to win. He always won. That was exactly the problem. He came out of retirement for one more. Conor McGregor, a UFC fighter, a man who had never fought a professional boxing match. Floyd called it the biggest payday in the history of combat sports. He wasn't wrong. He earned over $300 million in 36 minutes. The McGregor fight told you something. Floyd no longer needed legitimacy. He needed digits. He had evolved past champion. He had become a brand. And brands don't have to fight hard men anymore. They have to sell. August 26, 2017, the final bell, TKO in round 10. Floyd Mayweather Jr. retired, again, with a record of 50 wins, 0 losses. Rocky Marciano held 49. Floyd had one more, the greatest defensive boxer who ever lived. He celebrated with cash, literally stacks of it on social media. But look at the photographs closely. The entourage is always around him, never with him. There is a difference. There has always been a difference. His son Karan gave an interview when he was 12 years old. He said, and I am quoting directly, "My dad is a coward." He was talking about the domestic violence. A 12-year-old boy, his own son. Inside the ring, no one was better at avoidance. He made men miss for 20 years. Outside it, he avoided accountability with the same precision, the same craft, the same result. Everything slid off the shoulder. So where does he land? 50-0. Pound for pound, the best of his era by almost any metric. A generational talent, and a man who caused documented, undeniable harm. Both things are true. That is the legacy. The men who fought him, Zab Judah, Oscar De La Hoya, Shane Mosley, Canelo, they all said the same thing afterward. They had never faced anyone like him. The timing, the IQ, the stillness. Even in defeat, they were awed. Behind every corner was Roger, uncle, trainer, the man who gave him the shell. Roger died in 2020, blind from diabetes, a life of fights having taken a physical toll few talked about. Floyd sat at the bedside. The fighter behind the money persona was still there, just buried. In boxing, the 10 count ends a fight. A referee counts to 10 over a fallen man. But a 10 count also rings at a fighter's funeral. 10 tolls of the bell to honor a life in the sport. Floyd Mayweather is still alive, still fighting exhibitions, still counting money, but something was lost. Long before the last bell. Nobody will beat 50-0. The era of mega fights is gone. The financial model that built Floyd Mayweather will not build another one. He was a product of a specific, unrepeatable moment, forged in Grand Rapids, perfected by Roger, sold by himself. History will record the record. It always does. 50 wins, 0 losses, the most technically complete boxer of his generation. And history will also record, if it is honest, the cost. To others, to himself, to a sport that chose to look away. 50-0. It is an extraordinary number. It is also just a number. The man behind it is more complicated, more human, more broken, more brilliant than any record can hold. That is the price of perfection. Nobody walks away whole.